Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
party.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking no more to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, happy Thursday. Welcome to Coffee with Captain. I'm Captain, co-host today, but we'll have a lively show celebrating 5 years of Bored Apes. 5-year anniversary today. The Mint opened April 23rd, 2021. Truly can't believe it's been 5 years. It is, I don't even know. All the nostalgia hit me last night, not even crypto or Web3 related, but just how fast time moves. Unfortunately, Dodgers team did not win their regional matchup last night. So final home game, final lacrosse, and I held it together until she came off the field at the end, and just big hug and tears welled up, and it's just she was sad to see it over. Hard to know what to say in moments like that as a parent, and choked me up a bit as well. It was just time flies, and I don't know if it's kids. I say that I feel as if time gets exponentially faster every year with kids, especially in their teenage years. But it might just be life. I don't know. I'm sure there's some science behind this. How as you age, you have more memories, and your time. You've been here longer, and yeah, it just, I can't believe it's been 5 years. I can't believe she is graduating in a month. Actually, a month from tomorrow is her graduation day. Graduation party in like 3 weeks. Just wild. Time is absolutely flying. That said, I'm going to move on so I don't get emotional talking about my daughter and my you've probably seen the a post or like a graph on like your time, your summers. I think it's your summers with kids, or your time with kids and your hours with kids. And while we've got orientation at college this summer, we'll do a fun summer vacation and she'll be back for holidays. Like 95% of the time I'll ever spend with her is done. And that's sad. I was talking yesterday. I part of me wants to have another kid. I just don't want to be, I don't want to have I don't want to go to like the next high school graduation in my 60s. And so those days are behind me unless I decide to adopt like a, I don't know, a 5 to 8 year old. My criteria, my prerequisite would be one that is guaranteed to be a professional athlete, at least an NFL kicker, if not, at minimum. Dort getting hydrated today. Big water flask. Dobbins in the chat. All the apes. Hizzy out there rocking, already dropping new edits with his fire grill ape. Friday's show, always fun ones. Fridays are always good shows. Friday's show reminder is being dropped in the chat right now, and I will pin that up top. If you are listening on podcast later today or Spotify or any of the X video or audio recording, do us a solid and two things actually. Head over to YouTube, find this video, Coffee with Captain channel. Coffee with Captain Show is the YouTube channel. Hit this video with a like and subscribe to our channel over there. We greatly appreciate it. And while you're subscribing, go to coffeewithcaptain.com and drop your email in there. We don't spam you. It's very active. So I would ask, go subscribe and then open the email when you get it. Maybe click through, check out the week in review. Those recaps come out on Saturdays, and does us two subscribes we would greatly appreciate. One, YouTube, and two, the email. I forgot about these widgets. I'm going to drop that up top right now. If you would prefer, as opposed to typing something in, if you would prefer to just scan a QR code, hit that QR code in the top left corner of your screen, and it'll take you to the Coffee with Captain account or the Coffee with Captain email newsletter as well. GM to the chat, the early birds, Riss, Absolute Zero, Dobbins, Kurt Bang Bang, that's a good one. Block Mage, Samira, Thomas, and Tony. We are back on Abstract, by the way. I failed to mention that. I see Katie over there. She saw it. And congratulations to your oldest graduating from college next month. I am, while I don't know, maybe it's just because it's fresh and current, but I feel like even though college presumes, 3, 4, 5 years later or older, I feel like there's just something different about high school and, the proverbial empty nest. And this is why I appreciate my internet friends. Because we talking yesterday, I don't feel lonely ever. And maybe it's my incredible Latina girlfriend. Maybe it is my internet friends, combination of all the above. But yeah, I also am like one who I'm happy for my friends that have success. I'm not a jealous person, but I am a little envious of, I've got a lot of friends that have kids as young as like 3, and just a very, very different spot in my life now than I was. Let's see. So my youngest, obviously she's graduating, she's 18, so you can do the math, but got married for the only time in 2006, and she was conceived on our honeymoon. So 9 months later, had our first child, and was just, I was doing fine. I was, at the time, I was working, I guess it would have been Verizon corporate at the time, had a great, corporate gig, and stayed there for about a year before going out on my own. And sometimes I am not, envy isn't the right word, but I very much so would, and I don't have regrets, but I would very much so love to run back those, all of it, 0 to 18. But anyways, enough sappiness this morning. It's not what you're all here to talk about. I will get off my, it was a great run for the cross season. Most wins in school history. First time winning a district championship in school history. First time winning their district in school history. And I told her she should be proud. Even though that, it's hard. It's one of the challenges about a lot of sports, but in particular high school sports. Like most kids, their final game is a loss. Unless you go out winning a state championship, your final game is a loss. And a lot of kids, it's the last time they'll ever play that sport competitively the rest of their lives. Like I vividly remember my last football game, and that was 28 years ago. Sheesh. Good run. She should be proud. I told her not only their accomplishments on the field, but really saw her develop as a strong leader, a leader amongst her peers. And it was awesome to see, as someone who I attribute, looking back, it's easy to reflect on my life that, my football coach, one of my first mentors, our first mentor, and having the privilege of being a captain of that team my senior year, it was reflecting back a lot of this success I had in my professional career leading high performing sales teams directly tied to that my senior year, working extremely hard for something, accomplishing something that many thought we couldn't accomplish, and leading a team of people towards a common goal. And proud of her for this team is really young too. Like her senior class is pretty small, and they've got a junior that's already committed to Oregon. They've got a sophomore that is two sophomores that are going to be going to a D1 program as well. And I think they will take a lot of what she led, her leadership this year. I think they take with them into next year, and I think I would not be surprised to see them run even deeper into the tournament next year. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about a few things in the news. A lot of the news, actually. We do have a 5-year anniversary to talk about. We have a migration, Xeet migrating to MegaEth, surprised some people. I think especially some people that aren't on MegaEth, seeing some FUD. Why not BAYC? I've got some thoughts, but I'll hold that for later. If anyone else has any strong takes on, yes, this was a great move to go to MegaEth, or this was they should have done BAYC. There you go. James is 46 with a 5-year-old and 2-year-old. Will be an old man for graduation. I'm not trying to have kids. If I did have another kid right now, I would be really excited. Like, I am envious of. Envy is not the right word. What's a more proper word? I'm not jealous. I'm not envy, but what's a proper word there for? Like, I would love to run. Like, I would love to go I'd love to go 0 to 18 with a kid from, maybe not now. Maybe like I should have minted a kid when I was minting apes, although the person I would have minted with at the time would not have been great. And maybe that's part of my concern as well, is I don't know if. I'm going to bite my tongue before I get myself in trouble. Anyways, I have one of my best friends has a 3 and a 6-year-old, and it's just, part of it is money, right? Like when we started, like, yes, I was making a solid 6-figure income in corporate America, but I didn't have a lot of assets, didn't have a lot, I was just early in my career. And then I went the entrepreneur journey, and, I've been very fortunate to make millions of dollars. I've also lost millions of dollars on multiple occasions, and I wouldn't trade my journey for anything. But at the same time, I did go into business for myself so I could be there with my kids. But at the same time, during that era, I think I've shared here before, there was a time when I was just in hyper growth mode, scaling like crazy breakneck speed for a small for a small bootstrap business, acquired we left that cushy corporate gig and acquired 3 Verizon stores and went from 3 to 10 inside the first year. No debt, just purely grinding my face off, reinvesting profits to go from 3 to 10 stores in year 1, and didn't really take the foot off the gas for about 5 years. And there was a point where I was on the road 17 days in a row. I missed both my daughter's birthdays, missed both their, it was maybe an elementary school graduation, middle school graduation, which aren't like the biggest of deals. But my whole point was, that's why I left corporate America. That's why I went into business for myself. Is if there was a show and tell at 2:00 on a Tuesday, I was there. And I was for a while. I think the bigger thing is just where I was at that point in my life, both financially and mentally. is there was too many times where I was there, but I wasn't present. I wasn't there. And part of it's like maturation. Like I feel like I'm, like I'm not perfect. Like you might catch me, I might like look at my phone, I might catch a notification, but I am most of the time, like you won't find me for at dinner, I'm not going to be on my phone at all. Like I really consciously strive to be present both with family and friends. And probably didn't help that I built a career in the phone business, and it was retail. We were open 361 days a year. We closed Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and Easter. The rest of the time I was always on, and grateful for the business, grateful for the opportunities. But yeah, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Like, I don't know. Like my journey is my journey and I'm grateful for it. I think about like how different my time with children would be if I were to run it back now, as opposed to, a 27-year-old. And I don't want to say I didn't know anything. Like I was extremely hard worker. I also thought I knew a lot more than I did. And my confidence, like I was running circles around people who were my age at the time when I was, 27. And they're just like, while that sounds great, it also comes with extreme sacrifices that, I see some people opt not to have kids, and that's perfectly fine. I see other people that defer kids. And I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do it. And you could probably like James saying, with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, he's going to be an old man by the time they graduate. While I'm a relatively young man with my kids are graduating, I also was a kid when they were kids, if that makes any sense. Anyways, trying to move on, keep getting pulled back into the sappy old man, kids are getting old, empty nest syndrome conversation. So I'm going to move on, and we were going to talk. I see we got Jesus and Ilan, so maybe we start. We will definitely. Here's what I got on the docket today. If I'm missing anything, let me know. We've got Board Ape Yacht Club 5-year anniversary. I do want to kind of do a quick look back because I don't think there's a lot of new members entering the club. There's some OGs coming back in the club, and I don't know as if everyone fully understands or even necessarily appreciates the history or how things got to where they were. You're talking to nostalgia. I mean, some of the most fun I had in the club wasn't when, peak April of 22, so-called a year after they amended, when prices were, floor price was over 400K. Rather, it was probably that first 6 months was just incredible. And want to hit on some of those stuff. So we'll do a little bit of look back on those 5 years. Keeping it club related, they also just launched, not what we talked about, Grails OTC. They just announced yesterday they're partnered up with Cirrus to provide liquidity loans on those Grails. I'm curious to see what comes of this. I think this is maybe a signal that more is on the come from not just a Grails OTC desk and some loans on those Grails with Cirrus. I don't know. We will see, but as someone who is pro royalties, I think this might be some foreshadowing we're seeing with some of these moves since Figgy has taken the reins of CEO. I do want to talk a little bit about MegaEth, and maybe we start there since we have Jesus and Ilan on the stage. I'd like to get their thoughts on Xeet. Was it the right move, the wrong move? In addition to Xeet moving to MegaEth, Hit One just went live, and it really feels like MegaEth is starting to kind of maybe hit their stride. Their pre-market trading is up over 2.2 billion FDV, I believe. And I kid you not, when I saw the Xeet move, I was like, you know what? I've talked about getting a Bad Bunny forever. And I think they were trading around like 0.1, 0.12, something like that. And sure enough, I go and look, and the floor is like 2x in a day. So now it's like, okay, do I chase this rip? Do I let things settle and let, historically, when something rips that much, there's a little bit of a pullback. But I'm now find myself back in the market for a Bad Bun. I think it is one of the earlier. It's not, I think there's some. It's not a fluffle. I do have one of those, but that's a soulbound token. Bad Buns being one of the early, maybe the OG PFP collection on MegaEth, and one I've talked about for too long, and it's one of those where the price point currently, if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. But I would kick myself if it ends up ripping up and has a moment, and there ends up being future utility access, airdrops, etc. And I don't want to be sidelined for that. And then the last thing I had on the docket today, well, a couple other things, two kind of more flyover. Friday is the Clarity Act markup deadline, so I don't know if we see anything on that, but we follow the Clarity Act deadline with heading into Bitcoin Vegas next week. A quick shout out for Dominion that's also out in Vegas. Really looking forward to that. And then coming soon is Charles Schwab's launching their Bitcoin and ETH ETF, or Bitcoin and ETH spot buying on Charles Schwab. The other last docket item was club related. There's just been some conversation both on the timeline as well as some private group channels just about. I think most agree this NFT season 2.0 is going to look very different than NFT season of 21-22. And why should someone buy an ape? Why versus any of the other PFPs? Why any of these that are a social club? And I want to just look. I know we talked about some of the Miami social clubs. I saw on the timeline a new one just got announced in New York City, and it's actually targeting the intersection of crypto culture, high net worth social access, basically what Bored Ape Yacht Club launched 5 years ago. And I don't want to say culminating isn't the right way, but the next phase of the digital social club is the physical clubhouse. There's that industry right now is booming. And I've got a few other examples specific to New York we'll hit on some of their, what they're about, what the membership size is, initiation fees, ongoing costs. And, but the reality is that private social club market, it is having a moment. It's growing currently at over 11% annually, and it's projected to be a $26 billion market by 2027. It's pretty massive. I don't say apes were first, but they were very early, and they were first as it relates to the combining the physical digital realm. A lot of these social clubs are local only. I think you could argue. I know some would say Soho House, but you could argue they were the first to take the local social club global, with such a digital online presence. All that being said, we'll come back to that. We'll hit on some of those details. If I'm missing the other headlines, let me know. Feel free to join us up on stage if you have any strong takes, or add your comments, thoughts, questions in the chat down below. All that being said, Jesus, did Xeet make the right move going to MegaEth, or should have they went to BAYC like I've seen several on the timeline suggest?
GM. I don't know. BAYC was my pick. That was the one I was most confident in that would happen, because it just seemed kind of the timing was kind of right, because they had, the Bearish team had just partnered with Records, which is on BAYC, and I was like, well, maybe they were, having some back and forth there. Han said they've been speaking to several chains over the last few months, and whatever alignment they were looking for was there on MegaEth. I know there was a post saying, how much did MegaEth pay Xeet? Hans quote tweeted that, said 0. So there was apparently no money exchanged for doing so. I know it's a good thing, because a lot of people want the MegaEth TGE to happen. They're waiting for certain KPIs to hit to have the TGE. And it seems like we're getting a lot closer to that. It's getting down to the last few numbers that they're wanting to hit. And it makes sense, because what Xeet's, from what we know, what Xeet is supposed to be as far as a social-fi, info-fi type platform. And now you have, MegaEth needing to capture mind share. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good alignment. There's a lot of brands on MegaEth that, here's the thing, like they're either going to go to a marketing company, like AP Collective or Surgents, or they're going to go somewhere and spend money to do this. So would you rather have that marketing company's roster of 50, 20, whatever, 100 people tweeting about it? Or would you rather take a large prize pool and put that in a tournament on Xeet? And now you have hundreds of creators posting about it. And the way that Xeet works is if me or you or an idiot, all three of us have a card, we're all three up here on stage, and all three of us participated in a MegaEth tournament, whatever the KPIs are, whether it's referrals or just whatever they put up there, you're going to now have all the people that hold your card and want to participate, pushing your content, pushing your referral codes, pushing your mission to succeed within the MegaEth tournament. So it just widens the reach of and mind share of what MegaEth's wanting. And I pointed this out to Whale, and I don't know if you've been on the Xeet, if you have been on the Xeet platform lately, but if you go to your profile, you're going to see a section that says offers, and there's a demo thing there for people that are creators with a creator card that is a demo tournament for Myriad. You have to have 20,000 followers. There's a sign-in bonus. The prize pool is TBA. It shows a duration, and it shows you what's required. In this one, it says 1 tweet, 1 thread, 2 posts required. So
sounds like a KOL campaign.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what it's going to end up being. So, like for MegaEth, are they going to set the limits at 5,000 followers or more? Because it's going to be really interesting. But all the brands on MegaEth themselves, they're going to need distribution of like their products, and I think Xeet provides that. So for me, I think it's a win. Like I seen Bread's post yesterday, and Bread was talking about Blast and how, like, even in their bio now, it just seems kind of like you're bound for jail with what's in their Blast and what's in their bio, and like trying to figure out ways to come up with a campaign that not only rewards the participants there to make money on the campaign, but actual users of the chain. So, like, I don't envy them, but I think Xeet's a very good tool. It's an unproven tool. I am bullish on the team, but the whole concept is still unproven because you have the crowd out there that's saying, "Oh, this is just fantasy top wrapped in info-fi." Then you have the crowd that's saying, "No, it's not," and like so. It's yet to be determined how this is going to work out. But
where I do not see the demo tournament. Where, walk me through that. Where do I find that?
All right, so go to your profile,
Uh-huh.
and then go to offers. Do you have anything under offers?
Mine says no offers yet. Ooh,
really?
You sure yours is a demo?
Yeah, it's a demo. All right, so I'm gonna
I'm
tell
a
you
certified creator.
go look for that real quick.
I'm a certified creator. I've got Squad Hub. I think I have everything.
Are you sharing this on stream? I'm gonna go look at your stream.
Oh, I can. Yep.
We have a delay.
Yep.
Are you on Abstract or no?
I am. Yep.
Okay.
It's live again. I don't know what happened yesterday, but it's back. It's back and working.
Yeah. All right. I'm looking where you're at. You said you are sharing it on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It'll take a second. Yeah. It's a delay.
The other way, go to tournament and go to the completed. I think this is the way I found it the other day too. And I think if you go to Myriad from there, where in the fuck is Myriad?
I don't see it, but I mean, I even participated in the Myriad one before, so it's wild.
Yeah, hold on. Go back. Hold on. You can go to your profile, go to tournaments. Yeah, go to your profile, go to tournaments.
I had to clear
do you
filters.
see ending soon? Like when you go to tournaments under your profile, look over to the far right, and you're gonna see it's gonna say all live completed, and see if it says ending soon.
Yep.
So go to the ending soon.
Yeah, no tournaments ending soon for me.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Wow, you have nothing under your offers tab. That's wild. Yeah, for me, it's there.
I'm at the DM.
I had to go in and I accepted it on the 17th. And then when you go to your squad hub, it shows all the stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, what this is, I don't know. I mean, it says demo on it.
I wonder, maybe it's not a demo. Maybe it is going to be their first one. I would be surprising though if they do one on Myriad, who's not on MegaEth. You hit on something. I want to double tap on or pull on the string a little bit, and then we'll get Ilan. We got Diego and an idiot also on stage. I think MegaEth over BAYC was the right move. I'm biased. I have a fluffle. I got in there round on Echo, so I want to see MegaEth do well. But the reason I got in both those investment rounds is I think the team, how they're building, what they're building, it differentiates themselves from a very competitive L2 landscape. And there's a lot of novel dApps, new things, new experimentation. This hit one, like, probably not for me. I might gamble a little bit at it, but it's basically like you can put on extreme leverage randomly. So not even knowing if you're going to go long or short, it's just pure randomness. You're literally just gambling. It's like a scratch off ticket, but haven't seen anything like it yet. You've got, Euphoria did the tap trading, and you've seen others kind of duplicate or replicate that. I think that, and not that there's not apps on BAYC, there obviously is a lot. There's going to be more, and they have edge when it comes to TVL and active users and top of funnel because of what they can funnel from Coinbase. I just think for what Xeet, and maybe the answer is eventually they go multi-chain, and I know Pon said they didn't get paid. Sure, I get that. Just knowing crypto Twitter, and right now, like, does Xeet aspire to grow beyond crypto Twitter, both from brands they're working with and their, the
100%.
Yeah,
what they said, they have 17 distribution channels lined up that they want content made on Reddit, LinkedIn.
Agreed. But in the short term, their client base and their power users are going to be the crypto natives. Agreed?
Yeah.
Like for the next several months, it's going to be those of us that are here, and not that those of us that are here aren't on BAYC, those are crypto natives as well. And yes, BAYC is apparently going to drop a token. Who knows? Maybe some point in 2028. We know MegaEth is TGEing relatively soon. It's KPI based, but they're getting close. So even if Xeet didn't get paid, we'll take Pons at face value. I have no reason to believe he'd lie to us about that. There's incentives there that simply aren't available on BAYC yet. The incentive to I don't want to call it a double farm, but basically if you're
are you implying token allo? Because that's why I came up. I was just because he says he got paid $0 doesn't mean they didn't get promised a token allo.
Well, I'm not even I was kind of I don't want to. I'm not trying to mince Pons' words. I'm not trying to say he said one thing and it's actually another. But I'm not naive to think there probably is some sort of token allocation. It's knowing the team, it's probably based on KPIs, probably based on users. So it's probably no guarantee. He probably didn't get paid. I don't doubt they did not stroke him a check to move there. But you're talking a chain that's raised a lot of capital. They're pre-TGE. And even if they get paid anything today, there's potential token allocation at TGE. There's potential future token allocation based on how they do, whether they tap into a marketing fund or something like that. And even if Xeet, the company, doesn't get a single MegaEth token ever, the users will. It's like those who are active on Xeet and participating on Xeet, they're going to be participating on MegaEth. Therefore, how they're building MegaEth and how they're deploying their tokens and how they're going to reward their tokens to the active users, I think it gets me excited because it's two things I want to do. And while I'm excited about the new dApps and doing different things on MegaEth, so far they haven't like landed with me or stuck like, oh, I got to do this every day. Xeet could be different.
Yeah.
And so now I have something that I was already planning on doing, and it's going to, in my brain, I'm going to be able to receive or earn more MegaEth tokens because Xeet is on MegaEth instead of BAYC. Like I said, there's also not knowing the contracts. Maybe they signed some long-term agreement. Maybe there's no contract. And I think there's a world, knowing what Xeet's plans are, they eventually could go multi-chain. So for me, if it's like, okay, we're going to go to one chain for launch, we're going to really focus our efforts. By the way, I have no inside info. I am an advisor over there, but I'm rarely in the group chats. I don't have any conversations. I know nothing that's not public. I would not be surprised if, say, 2 years from now, a year from now, Xeet goes multi-chain. One of those changes. Look at BAYC. BAYC went to Flow. Well, they didn't leave Flow. They just went multi-chain, and now they're on BAYC as well. So I can see the Xeet launching, so to speak, on MegaEth. That being, there being real incentives for the active participants, not just Xeet, but also that MegaEth usage. And then 6 months, a year from now, go multi-chain, also launch on BAYC, and you're still on BAYC ahead of their token drop. I just
Scotty had said one thing in our space one time, and it was pretty interesting. He's like, their vision in the future is for brands to build on top, like use the Xeet cards, like use the Xeet cards for some type of an activation. Like, it was really weird. He was kind of touching on it a little bit, but it was in some way of like, but beyond just running a tournament. Like, I don't know if they're going to introduce some type of agentic thing for brands to be able to use Xeet in a way to power their brand beyond a tournament. I don't know, but like, while the NFT may be on MegaEth, and even when it was on Abstract for season 1, we had projects that we were promoting on there that were on ETH, that were on Polygon, that were on Solana, that were, I'm looking down the list right here. You had trading platforms. So like, while the NFT asset is just on MegaEth, they are multi-chain when it comes to tournaments. So it's not like anyone that's involved with Xeet is just going to have to talk about MegaEth brands. That's not going to be the case, because if Myriad's one, now you're talking about a brand that's a prediction market on BNB, and that's on ETH, and Myriad's multi-chain, but its home is BNB, So I don't think it really matters too much. I agree with you and Kyle that there was definitely some type of because you got to look at it. Tully and Scotty have bearish that they want to make sure that any rewards the team gets from MegaEth can kind of flow back into not only their NFT community, bearish. Then you have Pons, who has the plague, and I'm sure he wants to see some rewards or something go back to the plague as well. And it all funnels through Xeet, So there's multiple ways, I think, to play this, and we just haven't been able to peel the layers back on this big ass onion yet. But today they are going on a space with Tima at 1 o'clock.
I did pin that up top.
Eastern.
Is that a space or a Discord?
No, it's a space. Looks like Tima and them have started doing these spaces. This is episode 7. And no, Tima hasn't paid me for this, but it looks like they've started doing these spaces the last last few weeks. And yeah, they're gonna have Pons and Tully on today talking about everything going on with Xeet. And I think it's a good thing, Cap, because if there's going to be so many tournaments that are launched on this, and it's going to be a matter of up to the creator whether or not what they find on here that they align with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you align with MegaEth, your community will be able to go buy your cards and start earning rewards right alongside you. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing because you're giving, not only do you do an exceptional show every day and giving value back to your community that way and all the other partnerships you have, but now if your creators, if your community is getting active and they're holding captain cards, they're going to be able to earn rewards through that, not only with Xeets, but also anything else that's distributed through the tournaments you choose. And right now, I'm sorry, but bro, your card is like extremely undervalued.
Free. Card's free right now.
Free.
Go stack your, this is the alpha.
$10 for a fucking cap common.
And they said that the leading way to accrue points for Xeet tournaments is going to be tune into Coffee with Captain Spaces. It's hosting spaces. So I don't know, maybe buying a card for $10 of the longest running crypto Twitter spaces that's never missed a day in 1,145 shows might be a good $10 investment. I kid. But
you only have 73. You only have 73 cards as of right now.
I'm going to go sweep them all today. That's what I'm doing. I don't need a bad bun. I need if I get 67, that would give me 69. I need 69 cap cards. I'm going to corner my own market.
Your legendary card is for sale at 0.32 ETH right now.
Woo! That's too low. Add a zero to that. Move that decimal point. That should be 3 ETH at least.
Exactly. Yeah. There's none of your rare cards are available. But and I'm not sure how many of the commons are, but yeah, I mean, it's I think it's a good speculative play to see what they do. Now, if this sticks and lands, I think Xeet's going to really do some cool stuff. So
I agree. I think again, acknowledging my bias, I think MegaEth is really heating up, not just because their pre-market trading's up. They're getting close to some major milestones, and I remain very bullish that ecosystem, and for the leading dApps on an ecosystem, and because of how the Xeet team and how they're structured, I think it's a really good move. Jesus, why does Abstract Chain hate me so much? The world needs to know. They don't hate me. They just don't really care to prioritize their streamers. That's all.
Who said that? Oh, well, these new roles are coming, and that's going to be interesting to see if they grant some type of XP boost or there's going to change something for streamers. That for me needs to fucking happen. And I've said it multiple times. There needs to be like either a multi-tier badge reward system. There needs to be a streamer, like a Giga streamer role that gives you like a 75% boost, like a Giga Chad, I believe.
Here.
Those small things that don't cost the team a fucking penny, except the 30 seconds to make the badge or make the role. Like, there needs to be recognition there. If they can't monetarily, I've even told them, I was like, hey, you guys have all these brands on here. Why are you guys not trying to help creators even connect with teams to get any type of a brand endorsement or a brand deal with some of the things on here? We're streaming. We're talking about the things. I would gladly talk about a brand for 10 minutes, every day during the space, highlighting some of their things they're doing as a sponsor for the show. But like, some people may not have the ins or connections with those teams. And, they're like, oh, well, we don't want to become we don't want to become a marketing agency or in charge of that. And it's like, well, that's, I don't know. Then put a fucking Discord channel in there for streamers and verified creators to get these deals that the team can be in there as well and connect through an official channel. So we'll see what happens. But I agree with you. I've been streaming since day one. Literally, I was in testnet. The chain went live, streaming went live, and I was locked in on the, immediately. And I haven't missed it unless I just didn't run my space, which was very rarely happens.
I invoke your XP outcomes every time I end up talking to anyone from the team or with an affiliate badge about it. We talked about it ad nauseum with GMB and Marcelo the other day, and they're not team members, but they're both badged guys, and they both have some pull over there. I was like, streamers get like 0 XP. And GMB said, "Are you sure it's 0?" I said, "Oh, well, let me tell you about my friend Captain." So, but they agree. They completely agree. I mean, the abandonment of the streamer narrative, it's never a good thing when you start out with one narrative, build a community around
it,
and abandon that narrative.
That's it. That's like, I don't really care. It's not that deep. I mean, I'm in gold. I've already accepted I'm not grinding to platinum. I know they want me to play these other games, drive these trains. I'm not interested in that. It's not that deep for me. I don't really care.
Well, but Captain, you might not care, but here's the thing. If you're trying to build a positive narrative around abstract, don't want some of your most vocal, forward-facing users of your product who have the most attention, who have the biggest streams on your platform, having a negative experience and constantly pointing out that they're not getting anything in return for their efforts on the platform. Whether it's a big deal to you or not, like, you have a big audience and they hear that, and it's not what it should be, right? I mean, it's clearly not the outcome that should be happening based on the original narratives around the platform. So I really want to see them adjust that.
And that's exactly it. Because it was a leading narrative, it's why we started streaming, not just there, streaming period, because of this claim of like, oh, we're really going to reward our streamers. That's, a quote, there's going to be streamers making millions of dollars on abstract. And every time I say this, I truly greatly appreciate all the tips over there. Katie's activity, Be Epic, Hans, like many, many more. I shouldn't have named a few, but just like that does not go unnoticed. Everyone is greatly appreciated. I'm also not like panhandling for tips. I appreciate the gesture. It means a lot. It's more of, this was a narrative. It cost them nothing. It's just moving allocation percentages. It doesn't cost them a thing. It's like free marketing, free organic, genuine marketing, advertisement, support. And I know like they may be like the why not, like the downside is like, oh, maybe you have people that bought it and try to game the system. Man, take an hour, put someone on it and they spend an hour a week just manually scrubbing whoever shows a bunch of stream hours. And it's not that hard to figure out who's legitimate and who's just there to try to bot and game the system. It's very, I don't know, the word I go back to is like disenfranchising. When you go from, like, I've never been like a top XP getter. I was running like 5,000 XP a week, but to go from that to then doing nothing differently, and it goes from 5,000 to, it was week 59, they made the change. It went from 5,600 to 32 to 67 to 36 to 27 to, wait for it, 0. Like 1 week I got a literal 0, and then last week was back up to 22. I've streamed 5 days a week every day over there, and 1 week was a literal 0. And I still, like, not only streamed every day, I still hold 88,000 Pingu or whatever. It's actually over 100,000, but I think one of the tiers is 88,000. So I hold some Pingu over there. I stream every day. I've got a bunch of badges. And so to be doing what the narrative they started with, how important streaming was, I know there's other new narratives. I know, so I'm not expecting to earn hundreds of thousands of XP, but to go from one level for over a year to then just, hey, we're nerfing you completely. Like, to your point, I'm not fudding them, but I'm just sharing real truth. And it's not a good look, I don't think. Like, if someone's...
And by the way, the loudest day of the week every week for abstract is XP day. XP day, the whole timeline, everyone's talking about abstract for the day, right? And everyone's talking about how they got the outcomes that they got. And, when the Web3 streaming platform isn't getting any XP outcomes whatsoever, and that's a big part of the conversation. I mean, that's all I'm getting at. Whether it bothers you a lot or not, I mean, here we are, we're talking about it.
It just seems like it's such an easy miss and such an easy thing to fix. Like, to your point, like, yeah, and I'll give them credit. The portal's great. I think weekly XP is great. Like, it's user generated content served up on a platter. But instead of me talking every day on the show or every Tuesday or Wednesday, oh, I got 5,000 XP last week, I'm talking about it with a negative sentiment, and it's reverse. Like, it's just, what are you doing? Like it just seems so obvious to me. And it's not a me thing. It's just like looking at it from a business standpoint. If there's another streamer listening in today that whether they host a space or a stream and like, hey, I'm going to grow my distribution. Should we start pushing our broadcast to Kick or Twitch or YouTube or Abstract? If they're listening, they're definitely not choosing Abstract. Whereas if they just kept it the same or showed a little bit of alignment there, and it comes back to talk about this, it's blockchain ecosystems, it's NFT ecosystems. I believe a large part to do with this recent resurgence in Bored Ape Yacht Club, the floor price pump, the new members joining the club. They re-engaged the community, they re-engaged the club, not just other side, but the club elements. And they showed alignment with some simple things, some simple tweets. And I don't know that's simple. I know there's a lot of organization that goes in, but it's decentralized organization. We talk about all these local meetups, these local live events. I would be really curious. We'll probably never know. I would be really curious to see how much let's say if there's a dozen live events this month that they supported local meetups, how much did it cost them? I'm really, really curious. I'll ask. It's probably, I'm not expecting an answer, but I will ask at maybe next Ape Fest or time I see someone in person. Maybe they'll share, at least give me a rate. I'm just genuinely curious because I think it's some of the best use of resources, best use of capital, best use of it's just because what you're seeing is, and I know like, is that profitable? Not in the short term. Like they didn't make any money off of supporting the Tampa Bored Ape or board paintball meetup. But you got a lot of love on the timeline. You got some user generated content out there. Probably onboarded at least one new member into the club, and that reminding people like myself that's one of the elements I enjoy so much about being in the club is like that's their top of funnel, I believe, for things like the other side. Are there other ways to bring in new users? And they got this big upcoming mint. We might hit on the Daniel Arsha mint, and some of those details came out a little bit. It's not urgent, so if we have time today, we'll get on that. If not, we'll hit on that tomorrow. That'd be a good Friday catch-all. So there's other ways to onboard new users to the other side, but I believe by way of the club is one of the easiest ways to do it. And I think from a investment, from an ROI, like what they're doing to, like, I'm going to guess, because I don't know if I share this, everything was paid for. Like the paintball, the guns, the gun rental, the actual paintballs. There was a goodie bag I shared that I think a lot of that was contributed by other club members. The poster, they bought those posters, and I'm guessing like every one of these meetups, they ship these posters out to them. Getting those printed and shipped out, like that's not free. There's a cost involved with that. I get that. And they rent. We were playing for 3-4 hours. So I'm guessing a few $1,000s. So let's just say for simple math, let's say it's $5,000. I don't think it was that much, but let's go with it. Let's say it was $5,000 and they did 12 of them this month. $60,000 is a lot of money. They'd be making that if they were on a royalty protected contract. They would have made far more than $60K in royalties this month alone. I'll go. Actually, it's hard to check now. I need a new source. I'm not great at Dune. Maybe I just need to go back and fire up my old resources and find a good Dune royalty report. I was using NFT Pulse for a while, but they really bricked that site when it was changed or acquired. I don't know what happened, but I used to love NFT Pulse, and now it's almost unusable. So I need a new royalty report. But yeah, while they made some royalties this month, if they were, if royalties were protected to contract level, they would have made far more than $60,000 this month to more than cover the cost of these in real life activations, these in real life meetups. And I think it was actually Riggs who was talking. He was beating the royalty drum yesterday, and he says, migrate to a royalty protected contract already, referring to Mini. But it's like that's a way to reinvest in the club and drive this alignment. Is when you've got royalties coming in, that's an easier way to cover the cost of that stuff, as opposed to trying to pull it from other budget areas. Let's do this. Ilan, appreciate your patience. GM, we'll go Ilan, and I saw we got Diego and Joey. Joey's hands up. So we'll go Joey after Ilan and an idiot. I know you chimed in there a little bit, but I do want to get your additional thoughts if you have them on Xeet and this MegaEth move. Ilan, GM, thoughts on Xeet? Did they make the right move going to MegaEth?
Yeah, what's up, dude? It's always always fun, dude. I sometimes forget that you are here, like literally here every day. So hat tip to just being here and talking this out, because I think that's one of the most fun things about this space, and the sort of continuity of having people like you out there that you can tap into and just kind of shoot the shit about what's going on. It's a real pleasure. So as far as MegaEth goes, man, I don't know a ton about it. I've been pretty anti InfoFi and SocialFi, so I'll probably have a much different take than you guys, because obviously you guys are utilizing these things for the right purposes, right? And that is, you're content creators, you're tapping in, and it allows you to be rewarded for the efforts that you're putting in. Like I just mentioned earlier, you're here bloody every day, and yeah, like of course this space should come up with legit ways to reward you. But all I've seen from InfoFi thus far has been just absolute shit shows and glazing projects and products that are all pump and dumps. And I just don't think that's advantageous for the space in general. And I don't know how you weed that out. I don't know if Xeet has, or Pawns has his head wrapped around that aspect of InfoFi or whatever. So I hope he does. I hope there's a solution to that part of it. But what ends up happening, and it is how the incentives are sort of set up, is that you obviously reward people that are here for the right reasons and doing all the right things and making all the right moves, but you do have a flood and influx of tourists and fly-by-nighters that are more than willing to just flood the timeline, flood whatever information that people are digesting with just trash, and it makes it tough to sort of separate the wheat from the chaff. And I mean, it's not for people that have been around, right? Like not for people that know you and know the space and know the effort that you put in, but those don't tend to be in an expansionary time, which we all hope that we're moving into. I don't think that advantages the space, because once you're sort of in this expansionary time frame and people are moving into the space and people are like, this is something I can sort of tap into and glean and extract money off of for myself, and not add any value back into the ecosystem. That those, for some reason, those, and it is, it's that extrinsic, motivation. It's that, that money grab that just brings in that flood of people. So I'll be excited to see how Pawns approaches it. I know he thinks about these things in a truly sort of innovative way. He always has, and every move that he's made thus far has been pretty impressive. I mean, even to people that aren't in the plague and people that don't necessarily know him or are directly connected to him, myself included. I've always respected the way that he's moved in this space. So hopefully that he comes up with something. MegaEth is a weird one, man, because it came on strong. I mean, I take Cheese's note about they need to have something like Xeet, right? Like Xeet had a little bit of fire underneath it. And there is sort of that force multiplier there whenever you add those two together for a new L2 and a hot product to land on that, and that hot product being the ability to incentivize people to get the word out there. But there has to be something behind that. It can't just be blowing smoke, right? And that's the real problem. I mean, I think I was paying attention to MegaEth in the context of one project that was launching over there that I thought was cool. they rolled out, they had a dope trailer, and it just died on the vine whenever they actually asked people for money. And that's, confluence of factors, of course. I mean, it's tough to launch and like a month ago or whenever that was. I mean, we were in the doldrums, right? So hopefully there's something there, right? Like hopefully Pons is figuring it out and they have some synergies that makes MegaEth kind of pop and makes like there's something there, right? Like there's a there. And that's the real hope, really.
Yeah, no, good takes and valid. I too, InfoFi got very sloppy. Do you think having the structure, do you understand how it's like they got certified creators and then others can participate, but by the way of squads? And while we haven't seen it in full flight yet, I know they're very aware of the problems that InfoFi in its first form created and looking to, I don't even say improve upon that, but go about it a different way. So, I mean, do you think the more controlled, not everyone can be a creator out of the jump from the jump? Do you think this could potentially limit or mitigate some of the issues and challenges you saw with InfoFi the first round, InfoFi 1.0?
Yeah, man, honest take, I don't know enough about it. I mean, I think clearly like the squad dynamic makes sense because I'm nowhere near sort of KOL level, nor would I strive for that. Like that's not why I'm here. And this goes to your, it goes to the intro, right? I'm an old dad, like I'm dad now. I worked my ass off whenever I was young, and now I'm and I'm sort of an old father, right? And so this space is sort of an outlet for me to connect with people online, have these communities, talk about ideas, learn, network, like all of these things that we love about this space. And that doesn't sort of overlap with being opinion leader. Never thought of myself that way. I've never been even approached that way. So it's hard for me, but I know people in the space, like right through my network and connections that are in a position like that. I mean, I think, most notably, Min is a very good friend of mine, and he's sort of out there right on the edge of being a creator and doing the KOL thing, and obviously always being approached by some of the figureheads in the space to ensure that they have his inclusion in whatever they're running. And I'm pretty sure that he does have Xeet cards or anything, but I have not connected with him about this particular aspect of the space. And so probably I would think that there needs to be a I guess a decentralized push through these sort of squads of the people that can be like, hey man, I will inform you of what's going on here, join my squad and let's do this together type deal. And yeah, I mean, I would think that would, provide that alignment, where you're doing it with your people, right? Like you're doing it collectively together. And that's a very sort of space centric and positive way to maneuver, because you are aligned, and when people sort of you have that self-regulatory sort of aspect of your squad, if people sort of begin to meander into being too shilly or whatever, you can be like, hey man, reel it in or whatever. And so I think like that lends itself to that authenticity and the authenticity of squads, right? Because squads can have their own sort of unique identity and maneuver in their own particular way in that decentralized manner. And that could be fun, right? Like squad be squad and that kind of thing. It is, I mean, you can play it up like that, and that would be, that sort of gamification of it. And it's just for shits and giggles. It's not for the sole purpose, right? The primary purpose of monetary reward. It's alternatively, the purpose is to connect and to have some fun and play around a little bit, right, with the tech, and that's kind of what this space to me should be about. So hopefully we'll have that aspect of Xeet on MegaEth, and Pawns can sort of align those verified creators to say, hey, like here's the message that needs to go out about this, squat up and let's run it,
Yeah, indeed. It's different. It's new. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's great that they went with MegaEth. I noted my bias, and I'm a fan of not just the chain, but the team, and looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Let's do this. Let's get, actually, before I get Joey in here, Joey, you're on deck. I was talking about those posters, and that was actually idea came from Ape Whale. Said it was just idea to print them out as a memento for them in Tampa. The art was too good not to print. And I said, it might be silly, but I'm not exaggerating. It was a special moment when I unboxed it. I didn't take it was in a poster tube. And so like I opened it up and you couldn't see, it's all like wrapped inside. And like, all right, I'm not going to take this out of paintball. I'll just wait till I get home. And I got home and pulled it out, and it was something that was unexpected. And I know for some, it's just a silly event poster, but for me, it was the perfect cherry on top to commemorate an event and make it more, make the memory more of a lasting memory. Now I have this memento that I will, is it my, anyways, we're going to move on. We're going to get Joey in here, and get Ape Whale, you're a legend. Appreciate you. And I said it in the response. I hope other local meetups follow suit, because it's just a nice little touch that not only is a nice touch for that event, but it plays with the club lore, right? When we've got a Ape Fest poster at every Ape Fest, when it leans into the culture that they've already built, and it expands upon that. I'm also getting Newfoundlands in the chat. I did not know that Newfoundlands are water rescue dogs, like rescuing people out of the ocean with like the Coast Guard and stuff. That was impressive this morning. But now I'm getting off the rails again. So Joey, I got to go grab my bat phone. I left it in the other room. Since I'm doing that, I'm going to refill the coffee. I'm going to hand you the mic. If you are done with your take before I get back, go ahead and hand it to an idiot. But I will be back. I just got to go grab this bat phone. I'll probably refill the coffee while I'm at it, and we'll be right back. But Joey, GM, what's your thoughts on, as someone with BZ who I talked earlier, went multi-chain, went mood to flow from Blast, then went multi-chain with Base. Does my take where right now for Xeet, I think MegaEth makes the most sense. And I could also see it making sense for them to go multi-chain similar to the BZ approach in like 6 months to a year from now. Thoughts on that, or just thoughts on Xeet to MegaEth in general?
So is Xeet staying on Abstract?
No, I don't believe so.
To MegaEth?
No,
they're just going to MegaEth.
Correct.
Right?
They're migrating the NFTs to MegaEth, right? I mean, they're essentially multi-chain in their tournaments anyway. They always have been, but their cards existed on Abstract. They're going to MegaEth.
Okay, got it. So I'll answer Cap's question, but I came up for a different reason. But I think that not to sound like a broken record, I think I've said this many times. I do think that in the next probably 3 to 5 years or sooner, our world will no longer be like, what chain are you on? I really do believe it's going to be like when you walk into someone's house and you ask for their Wi-Fi password and the Wi-Fi just works. You don't care if it's AT&T, Xfinity, whatever, right? Like, so I don't think chains in the future will matter, and being multi-chain will matter, because we're starting to see it right now where like OpenSea is a great example, where when you go on OpenSea and you want to participate in an NFT drop, you can just use any token on any chain at any point to pay for that NFT. So I do think that we will have a world where the chain won't matter that you're on. It's more so picking a chain based on the infrastructure, the speed, the dApps that they can provide. But in today's world, I do think there is value in being multi-chain, which is why we are multi-chain, are going to continue to go multi-chain. We are launching on another chain during Q2. Because right now, the users are still very siloed on blockchains. So for example, the Solana whales, the Solana, maxis, they don't leave Solana. They do not come and participate on other chains like BAYC and ETH. And there's a lot of money on Sol. I mean, there's a lot of people that bought Sol at $8 to $10 because they believed in Sol long term, and are sitting on a boatload of money. And for a platform like us, where where everything is priced in USD, not Solana, right? Like they're getting a big benefit of having bought so much Sol at $8, but really, and then only having to spend 50, right? They're only spending a third of their Solana versus other platforms that say, hey, everything is one Sol. So I do think there's a benefit of being multi-chain. It just depends on realistically, like why are you going multi-chain and what do you have to offer? So I think I do think it's a good move to leave abstract, because that's kind of why I came up on stage, which was to propose the question of like, what is abstract now? Like I was listening to all you guys talk about how they launched, their whole, when they launched initially, there was this big focus on streaming. And, we talked about on here how, Luca's connections to certain people, could open up doors because, they're going to try to attract the biggest streamers from Kick and Twitch and whatever. And, I remember these conversations. Like, what is, if abstract's not focusing on streaming, what is abstract? Like, why does someone build on abstract?
Good question. I don't know. I do think, and I'm guessing this has been said before. I don't know why it hasn't hit me before, but it's the first time it's like your analogy of blockchains will become the ISP, in the sense that no one's going to care if you're using Frontier or Spectrum or WoW as long as it works. And no one's like, when you connect and it works, no one's having to follow up because, wow, your internet's so smooth. Who are you using here? I think blockchains will become the same. Now, as we know, not all blockchains are equal, just like we know not all ISPs are equal. Meaning, if I was on some shoddy, like I'm on a Frontier fiber here, it's a gig. If I was on some Wi-Fi that was only getting like 10 megabyte download and upload speeds, the stream's probably choppy, and I probably notice and I probably care. But when it's above a minimum acceptable standard, we'll just say a gig is a gig. Like, I don't care if it's Frontier or Spectrum or whoever. I mean, I care about the price. And I think, at least in my area, Frontier was the fastest and the lowest cost. So that's a no-brainer. But no one else cares. Not a single person's asked me, even like not one person's asked me what internet, who's your ISP here, man? This internet's great. Just like in the future, no one's going to ask, what chain is this on? It's just, is the app cool? Are they using it? Is it easy? Do they have to, do anything different to get there and start using the app or whatever's on the chain? So yeah, I think that's a really strong analogy. I'll probably use that again. Was that a Joey original?
To your point about the speed though, that's MegaEth, right? So like what I was saying about infrastructure, like if you want to be on on an internet, right, an ISP or a blockchain that has the most speed, that's what we've always talked about, is about MegaEth's advantage. So again, I do think from like a builder perspective, you will care what blockchain you're on based on what you're doing. But from a user perspective, like, again, just to use BZ as an example, you can open up Chrome on your phone right now, go to bz.com, click sign up with a Gmail email, right? Like, or plain old Yahoo email address, if they still exist, I don't even know, right? Sign up, play the claw, shop on the marketplace, pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, whatever, withdraw money directly to your bank account if you hit a big card. Do you think anybody outside of us cares that it's on base?
No, not at all.
And that,
I think in the future, most people won't. I think for right now, everybody that's doing anything on a blockchain is very Web3 centric. But the future is heading exactly where you're implying.
Correct.
yeah, and that's what but back to my point about abstract, like, and again, I'm not knocking abstract. I still hold all my Pengu. I still have a little Pudgy. I still have badges. I still have NFTs over there. Like, I still have stuff over there. And what's weird, Cap, is my XP hasn't changed at all. I've been earning 5,600 XP every single week. I just went and checked when you were talking about it. I've been earning 5,600 XP every single week. And I literally don't do anything anymore. I used to go watch, because I thought at some point they were going to reward users for like being in streams, right? Like actually being on the platform. So I used to have you up on the computer all the time on abstract. So that way I would be like in the stream, and then I would always, throw a couple Pengu tips and whatever, thinking that like all of that activity would help, but it obviously didn't. So I don't even go on there anymore. I think it's been a month since I went into the portal on abstract to even look and see. So like I'm earning 5,600 a week for my little Pudgy, my 100,000 Pengu or whatever I have, right? I'm only at the bottom tier of the 88,000 like you. I think I have a Giga Chad role as well.
Elite graduated Chad, I would guess, which should be, I think, maybe it's 7.5% bonus if I'm remembering.
Yeah, there's two different Chad roles in the Discord. I think I have the lower of the two. And then I have like, some final BOSU NFTs. I only have like 10 badges because I haven't been keeping up with all the stuff you're supposed to be doing. So I find it odd listening to you say like, I had a week where I earned no points, right? And I'm just sitting here earning 5,600 points every single week for doing literally not even logging into the portal. But again, back to my original question, like if streaming isn't their focus anymore, if that's not what they're gonna build, right? Like, and clearly gaming hasn't taken off the way they thought it would with all the different games that launched. I don't know why you like what is abstract. Like we know what MegaEth is. We know about the infra and the speed and all that stuff. We know what base is.
Can I take a swing at this? Can I take a swing at this question, Cap?
Yeah, go for it.
So look, I would just say, look, admittedly, and I have been one of the voices that's not super happy about XP outcomes, right? That's pretty prevalent across the entire abstract community, undoubtedly. But that aside, because what abstract is not XP outcomes ultimately at the end of the day. XP outcomes are important for everybody that's, farming, hoping for a big airdrop or whatever. What abstract is, in my mind, is the cleanest portal through which to interface with a blockchain to onboard normies through, period, on any blockchain. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Have you used Base app though?
No, I haven't. So maybe I have a blind spot here.
Yeah, I would challenge you because I don't know if you heard that day when Cap said like he bought his rect and he was able to redeem his rect points. And it was like scanning a QR code in the Base app. I would challenge you to check out the Base app and how simple it is to use any dApps within the Base ecosystem in that Base app. And from a
genuine question, can you sign up for the Base app just with an email and all that? I don't know. That's a question.
I don't know because I would have to go back through and check. I'm pretty sure you can.
I believe you can. I will say, while Base app is onboarding on Base is super easy. I mean, the example of the rec claim, I scanned a QR code, and the next thing, within seconds, there's 140 million rec coin deposited in my Base app. Very, very, very easy. And I believe, yes, I created that account initially with just an email address. I don't think I did anything else. Although on the other end, I will agree with an idiot that the abstract portal still is probably first in class. They did a good job with the portal.
Super clean. Yep. It's super curated. It's super easy to navigate. I mean,
I think from a desktop, I agree.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's not a great mobile app experience. Probably.
No, I think
I've never looked at it on mobile.
Abstract's desktop Abstract's desktop portal is definitely the best without a doubt. It's not even comparable. The whole layout, the colors, everything. But remember, I mean, Cap would know this better than anybody. What's the percentage of the world that's on mobile versus desktop now?
Right, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Don't disagree with that point at all. Most people are not carrying a laptop around in their backpack at all times because they're a Web3 degen like I am, right? Fully agree. But, you know, it's just a matter of building that app then. I would just say, to me, Abstract is like the best onboarding tool for normies that I've seen, aside from like the literal like president-elect launching a meme coin, right? And I think, you know, Luca has demonstrated that he has a great way to proliferate across Web 2, to market to normies, you know, products and whatnot. So I think, you know, at the right time, when they're ready to blow a big marketing budget, you're going to see a giant influx of people through this portal, and it's going to be a really positive experience for them. Just back to the XP thing, I think it's very possible that they're trying to position themselves to raise a bunch more money, maybe in a lead up to a TG. I don't know, but that's the only reason why. I mean, you know, the XP outcomes are obviously trying to promote a certain behavior on chain, which is firing off transactions ad nauseum. Plenty of chains do this, by the way. It's just most chains pay some kind of company to make these transactions happen. They are trying to promote their community to do it. Which, you know, the community is not super happy with because they want to be rewarded for playing the games and holding the IPs and being part of the communities that they love. But at the end of the day, if they do have a TG, you know, they've given their community a big opportunity to have, I mean, hopefully a moment, hopefully this doesn't last forever, to mass farm instead of paying some company to do it. We can all do it. I can light $20 on fire a week in gas fees and farm, you know, almost 70,000 XP, right? I'm in platinum tier now. I wouldn't have made it. It would have taken me weeks and weeks, if not months longer to make it to platinum tier if it wasn't for the current meta, as uncomfortable as it may be. So, you know, I'm here for it. I just hope that they can get, you know, whoever they're trying to get these vanity metrics for, I hope they deliver the metrics, get the money, whatever, and then we get back to what, you know, the original narrative was, because it was a strong narrative, you know, cute IP, fun games, and streaming on a platform that looked like it was almost headed towards being a social platform a lot more than it already is too. I mean, you know, you can follow people, you can friend people, you can chat in each other's stream chats. I mean, there's a lot going on this portal. So anyway, that's my best swing at what is Abstract now.
Do you think there's the same issue we're facing like with OpenSea in like how long this, because we all assumed, right, that all this XP we were earning on Abstract for getting these GigaChad roles and holding Pengu and whatever, all of that was going to lead to an Abstract TGE. I mean, should they be getting as much, for lack of a better word, shit as OpenSea gets for having not TGE'd at this point and just basically diluting everybody every week with all this XP? Because like, what are we actually going to get if it ever happens?
No, yes, yes, but I would say I think they do get as much shit as OpenSea gets. I think the lens through which you see people getting the most shit has a lot to do with your own algorithm. Because I see them getting a lot of shit about it. But I agree with your point overall. Like a lot of, you know, name your favorite company that you were farming for a TGE. They all thought they were going to TG in Q4 last year. Everybody thought there was going to be some giant ripping altcoin season in Q4, and it didn't happen. And now everybody's pissed, whether you were on Pump Fund thinking you were going to get a big, you know, airdrop from that, or OpenSea or Abstract, or, you know, name the TGE that hasn't happened yet. Your favorite NFT community was going to do a TGE, you know. I mean, this is pretty prevalent in the space. And it's kind of just up to what you were engaging with as to which TG you're pissed off about not happening.
And I think the total size is just far more. I mean, the amount of people who have used OpenSea since 2021 is probably 10x that of who have actively been farming or been using Abstract for a TGE, right? Like, there's just a much larger sample of people that are awaiting the OpenSea TGE than those that are awaiting the Abstract TGE. I don't know the exact number, but pretty sure that is that would be accurate. I see we got a new speaker on the stage, Hunt Club Hero. Welcome to the stage. GM, what brought you up this morning?
Yo. Just noticing some inconsistencies in this depiction of L2s. You know, I heard Joey Vowels say that nobody cares that BZ is on base, but I mean, I was using Colony and ordering cards when it wasn't on base, and you guys moved around a lot before you caught volume. So obviously someone cares that it's on base, right?
By the way, real quick interjection. Another all-time high yesterday, another record day yesterday. So to your point,
Yeah, so I mean,
someone cares.
thousands of users care that it's on base.
Wait, no. I didn't say nobody cares. What I said is that in the future, when people won't care what blockchain you're on, they'll just care that it works. That in today's day, blockchains do matter because there's so many niche communities on these blockchains. Just to clarify.
Yeah, I mean, that's a better way to articulate it, but you definitely did say that nobody cares it's on base. So that was, and it was, you know, a little shocking. And also even all of these L2s, everything that we've discussed so far, they all play the volume game back and forth, you know? So nothing for or against abstract per se, but at 55 mil last week, it's actually not bad compared to other L2 volumes. I don't think L2s are going to matter. I think you guys are giving a lot of love to MegaEth at this second, but the ETH Foundation has already gone ahead and they've shown great promise. They've delivered on their promises over the last 2 years since changing and deciding to scale the L1 itself. They've very much been able to increase blob sizes, gas limits, like transaction speeds, decrease the cost of transactions. So I'll just push back on the inconsistency, Joey. And what I mean is, it's not that no one's going to care what chain you're on in the future, which is true, but there won't be as many L2s in the future because it's no longer economically viable to scale an L2. You can't offer anything. ETH isn't going to be offering itself, right? They originally had this L2 roll-up roadmap, which has just gone away. Now it's all about scaling the L1, profiting off of L2s as much as possible, increasing blob sizes to allow for more L2s. But in general, the hope is you won't need them. By the time Ethereum scales to a point where enough people around the world are using it as a means to transact regularly, which is going to be hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, right? So the layer system itself is going to be used more for security, right? We just saw Ton, you know, freeze funds this morning. We know Abstract has had issues, and they like it's not a decentralized chain. If there's a problem, they can roll it back. Just like if somebody steals your credit card number, you call the bank, they give you the money back, right? But if you send someone Bitcoin, you can't call Satoshi to get your money back, you know? So L1, L2, L3 security levels for transactions are going to feel like central bank transacting, banks transacting between each other, and humans transacting with a storefront to buy, you know, a bag of chips. They'll like tier the security that way. But as far as speed, functionality, community, this and that, I think that's like, it's a little more closed-minded, you know? The guys that collected DVDs or recorded all their shows on VHSs were not able to save the VCR. You know, the like video killed the radio store. There's not going to be a strong enough community to impact the future of an L2 past its redundancies, right? It just won't matter anymore. All these things they're trying to offer you, you know? So I think it's a very like complex topic, but just saying MegaEth is great because they're fast, you know, Abstract is slow because they ain't shit. Abstract did onboard the UAE. They had the first sovereign wealth fund purchase crypto through Abstract. And it wasn't about Abstract per se itself. It was about the global wallet infrastructure they used, because they were the first to offer something like that. Yes, it's kind of built out with Privy, and it's not necessarily their own tech, but they were the first to be able to offer it. The portal as well. They were the first to be able to offer that. Coinbase, I like Coinbase. I like the Base app. It's a poor copy, and they're still trying to find their way around it by negating the social aspects and slicing pieces off of it until they find out what works. But yeah, I haven't talked on space in a long time. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, welcome. Appreciate you jumping up and adding to the conversation. You made me with the video killing the radio store or star. Got me thinking, is anyone else going to go see the Michael Jackson movie this weekend? I think it's the first time I've been to a movie theater in maybe a decade, and looking forward to it. I don't know if it would be any good or not, but I am. That's the girlfriend wants to go, so we're going to the movies. Diego, welcome back to the stage. Glad we got you back up here. GM, what brought you up this morning? Thoughts on all this?
Hey, Cap. Thanks for bringing me up. I'm just confused. I'm very surprised about this move from Xeet to use the MegaEth. I have no clue about MegaEth, so I was wondering about it. It is too late to join MegaEth, to start to use the change to see if we are going to be eligible for the airdrop. Or not. If you guys there on the stage or someone in the public could pin us to see how we can participate and try to take advantage, that will be very, very great.
Yeah, so
Thank you, Kat.
No, great question. I think what I need to do, we'll see if we can get Brett on here. Maybe we can get him impromptu tomorrow. If not, maybe next week, although next week's going to be a little bit of a challenging week for guests just due to the travel, and might have a day or two, maybe 3, where we go old school audio spaces only, because Abstract's not rewarding me for streaming over there. I'm just going to pull the plug. I kid. That's not why. But debating whether I travel with all the gear or just a pair of Steves. I think at least one of those days I'm probably going to be rocking Steves, only just due to flight schedules. But I can't make this up. I say this like very complimentary. This is not a shot at Diego at all. It tickles me. And as someone who, I'm actually going to go post the another Instagram reel I shared with my girlfriend yesterday, because it was pretty funny. She was giving herself a hard time about her English, and I say, you speak great English, far better than, my dog understands more Spanish than I do. And there was a Bad Bunny clip, and it's like, this is me as an American contributing to a Spanish conversation, and spoiling it for everyone. I will go grab the clip here in a minute, but it was basically he just says "sí." That's I know I use "sí" every day. I use "gracias de nada," and that might be about it. I use those 3 on a daily basis. Occasionally I'll drop a maybe. Yeah, those are the main ones. But I said about 3 seconds before Diablito adds this in this chat, I had another chat. I said, I just want to get Diego to say Xeet a few more times. Diablito says Diego has to say Xeet as much as possible, and he says, can we get a Diego Xeet jingle? This might be it, Diego. I don't know if you've ever done a voiceover or a custom jingle, but we might. This might be the key to getting a Xeet sponsorship, is getting a Diego Xeet jingle.
Yeah, but please don't convert me to a meme. At least if you're gonna do that, tokenize it, mint it, set the royalties to me, please. My backs are very, very obliterated. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you. And to answer your question, though, in all seriousness, MegaEth is doing their TGE and token allocation, their rewards, their airdrops, quite a bit different. Mainnet is live, but they're not TGEing until they hit not even time bound. It is specific KPIs, including at least 10 apps that are doing material volume and transactions and TVL, and then when they do their first season, it's going to be rewarding a smaller base of users versus just completely wide, and partly trying to mitigate against bots and farmers and multi-account users. And so yeah, I am, but as far as like how you might position yourself being someone new, whether just on Xeet or using some of the other dApps, I'll see if we can get Brett on here in the near future and see if we can get a good rundown. Also, with some of these other apps going live, good time to circle back to some of those conversations and get some of those teams and founders on as well to while you're over there, what else can you do? Joey, go ahead and get back in here.
Yeah, I'm hopefully our fluffles are included in that first token drop. Yeah, back to what Hunt mentioned and kind of what I was talking about. Community is really small, right? The amount of people that are using blockchains and all these dApps and things like that is still siloed with this Web3 community. We're doing better at onboarding, non-Web3 people, but it's still very siloed, and there's silos within those silos. And I think I agree with Hunt in that all of these L2s are not going to survive. There's going to be some form of consolidation at some point. It happens in almost every industry around the world. It blows up. Everybody opens one. I mean, Cap, you could probably talk to this. I remember when there was like a Ubreak, iFix, or some knockoff version of it on almost every corner in South Florida. And then eventually, some people, the cream rose to the top. They started buying up, other businesses. There was consolidation, et cetera. So I do think we'll see consolidation in the L2 space. I agree with Hunt. But the part that I think will matter in the future, again, is just how will things perform when you're using them as a user, right? I really do believe that the blockchains that will survive are the ones that can give the best experience for everyday users. Like, as an example, my dad, he invests TradFi and crypto, but he's 70. How old is he now? I don't even know, 72 or 73. He uses Robinhood because it's really simple for him to use. And if you're going to build on a blockchain or you're going to build a dApp, you have to build something that is really simple, that's really fast, that doesn't require, special tokens and all this stuff. And I do think we'll get to a point in the future where, again, cross-chain payments and all that stuff will just happen naturally. And that's why, again, I use that ISP example. Right now, it is very, what's the word? Like, it's like the Solana example, right? It's the AppTrap example too. It's the ApeChain example. Like, how many people here honestly say they use ApeChain and they're not already in the Yuga ecosystem? I would imagine there's not many, right? Like,
I think you'd be
most of the
surprised,
people
actually.
transacting on ApeChain.
I think you'd be really surprised. I think you'd be really surprised. I think actually, I think it's the exact opposite. I think most of the active ApeChain users were not in the ecosystem previously. A lot of the new mutants and apes that I see, it's ones who get in the ecosystem by way of ApeChain. They get in other side, and then one of their aspirational goals becomes they want to secure a mutant. They want to get an ape. They want to join the other club. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it is 50-50, but it's definitely not all. And I think there's a large portion of the active ApeChain community, the active other side community that was not in the Yuga ecosystem prior.
Yeah, I remember when everybody shifted over to Ape Chain and Gargo was buying memes and shit during the Fartcoin early days. It was definitely all of crypto. Joey, I gotta ask you a question, bro. So can we agree on the fact that perhaps you're expecting too much from these L2s? They're just a side hustle, bro. So think about it like this. If I own a pizza shop, a client has to call, order a pizza, get it delivered. They're currently using Uber Eats. Uber Eats is collecting money off my client that I never see. They're getting delivery fees, they're getting extra charges on top of the food prices, blah, 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 right? So they're making income off my hard work. Well, fuck that. I'm going to launch my own delivery service, right? That's what an L2 is. They said, I am going to get users using my shit. All the fees and transaction fees have to go somewhere. If the fees are higher than the costs of operation, then I make profit. So each of these blockchains has a number, right? If I get, 10 million of volume through my DEXs, I profit. If I get 15 million, I profit. If I get 30 million, I profit. They each have a nut to crack to start making profit. But that's all it is, bro. It's like selling cards out your basement. You know what I mean? It's a side hustle. So for me to say these L2s need 100,000 users or else they're not competing with Ethereum, they're not competing with Solana, that they're not going to make it, right? Like, no, they're making it. If they make $100 a day, they're making it, right? As long as that's all they need to operate. So I think you should, I like your example. Robinhood matters. The app, the chain it's on doesn't matter, right? Hyperliquid matters. The chain it's on doesn't really matter, right? If it stops it from functioning the way it should, then it won't be on that chain. But if it functions the way it should, then the chain it's on doesn't matter. So I agree. Eventually we won't know what chain we're on. I agree. Eventually they'll all die. I'll agree with all that. But yeah, I don't think you should expect too much. If Hyperliquid is going to be making a lot of money off other things on their chain. And I'm sure they're already launching their own dApps that they own, and the team is having fun in that playground. But the revenue off of transactions and volume and users is only one slice of the pie,
Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, I think there are, like, for example, I am bullish on Base because of their connection to Coinbase. I don't think Coinbase is going anywhere. I think, for that reason, I don't think Base is going to go anywhere. To your point, Caps talked about this many times, which is with ETH upgrades, right? And how inexpensive gas has become with all of the upgrades that ETH has gone through, right? Like, what is we talk about this in the war room too, like, what is the benefit of these other L2s if ETH continues to go through their upgrades and gas continues to get cheaper? Because that was the first selling point for any of these L2s when they launched, was like, you should use Polygon, even though it was dog shit and you could never get your money, right? But they were like, you should use these L2s because gas will cost you pennies versus $50 or $100 or $500, right? That was their first selling point. But now I think for me at least, when I look at these L2s, I look at distribution. Like, why do I want to be on Base? I want to be on Base because Base is connected to Coinbase and their distribution is massive, right? And the reason why people went to Abstract initially, when they announced the streaming and et cetera, was people made the assumption that, listen, Pudgy is going mainstream. They're in Walmarts, they're in Targets, they're in all these places. They've got all these events, they're doing all this stuff. If I go to Abstract, I can tap into that distribution, right? So, and some L2s are not focused on distribution, like MegaEth. They're focused on the tech, the speed, the real-time transactions. So I think when you're looking at an L2, you have to look at what is it that they offer versus what was the original creation of L2s.
Yeah,
I think. Oh, sorry, Cap.
No, go for it. Real quick one, and then I do want to get a couple other things in here before we got to wrap. But go ahead, quick response.
I was just going to say that I get what you're saying. I think the new shift is going to be more like shop local. people are going to ask you to use their chain because you're supporting local, shopping local, and they get the advantages as a small business. Like, I think it'll be more like that kind of a spin than this is a better place to transact.
Yes. I mean, so I get both the points that are people going to care what the chain is? No, but they do, and they will. And I think especially right now that it means more than what it's going to mean in a few years. And I also think that not all L2s are created equal. The tech is different. The culture is different. The funding is different. Most will fail. But those who do a good job of differentiating there's a big opportunity. Not everything is going to take place on ETH mainnet. And I think some of these L2s are positioned better than another layer one for that matter. Good conversation, though. I've enjoyed it. Appreciate everyone who added to the conversation. It's going to be interesting. I think it's a great move for Xeet and MegaEth both. I think it's a good win for both parties. And I guess all three parties. I would say the users, the participators, the certified creators, the squads as well. Welcome to MegaEth, I would say. And I will see what we can do to get bread on here in the near future. All that said, as we talk, a couple other headlines, a couple other topics I want to get into. I buried at least the cold open lead this morning, because not only do we have Michael Jackson movie premiere this weekend, we also have the NFL draft tonight. I'm not sure how I went an hour and 45 minutes without talking about the NFL draft, someone who's a couple hundred best ball drafts deep for this upcoming NFL season. I know it's not the most popular draft. A lot of people are saying it's a bad draft class. I think there is some gems, and I very much enjoy the draft. I think the NFL has done a great job with keeping their fan base engaged year round. And while I'm not engaged to NBA year round, I am hardcore pulling for the Lakers. I've got my LeBron hat on, and I hope he can make a deep run here. Here's what we're gonna do. I may save the Board of Yacht Club look back for tomorrow, just because it's probably a lengthier to do it proper. It's more than a 13-minute conversation. If I do that, I won't get to the other topics like Fernando Mendoza and how he's going into the greatest setup, maybe all time, for a NFL first round or for overall number one overall draft pick. I think Caleb Williams had a pretty good setup going to Chicago, and Ben Johnson and everything, all the weapons he had there. Mendoza to have what I will become a solid offensive line. I think Genty, a generational running back behind him. Potentially, if he stays healthy, the greatest tight end of all time. And I do fully expect them to add some wide receivers, but more so, he's got Kirk Cousins as a mentor in the QB room. He's got Tom Brady as a mentor. Like, the guy is just really being set up for success, and I'm becoming a bigger and bigger Mendoza fan as time moves on. Quick paying the bills for anyone that is heading out to Vegas next week for the Bitcoin conference. As we talked about, I expect some pretty big announcements. There's just way too much happening from this administration, Clarity Act, Bitcoin Reserve, and beyond. By the way, speaking of administration, cannabis officially got reclassified, rescheduled from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. About time. Good to see. Good to see. But I do think we'll see some big news coming out of Vegas next week. I don't think it'll just be another check the box keynotes. I think there might actually be some new news shared there. If you're going to be out there, join us at Dominion. Dominion is Doma's conference. Incredible lineup of speakers, both from the crypto space. You've got leadership from Solana and Avalanche and Kalshi. One of the board members of Kalshi is going to be speaking, as well as an incredible lineup of domainers, OG domainers. Go to luma.com/Dominion 2026 and use code CWC to get your discounted ticket. I also did not get a daily market update in here. So for those of you that are also have not yet filed your taxes, or you did file your taxes and it was a nightmare because you didn't do anything to reconcile your crypto transactions till the very end, go get an Awaken tax sub. It's an annual subscription. It'll help you get ahead of tax filing season next year, or if you file an extension, it'll help you get completed. Awaken.tax.
Smart stuff take time. Let's set the play. Powered by Awaken, the smart tax way. From crypto flips to DeFi stacks. They keep it clean. Got your back. Grab your coffee. Let's break it down. Daily update. Right now.
Jumped the gun a bit there and played the jingle as opposed to the banner. That's Awaken.tax, code coffee50, or return coffee50 if you're a returning user. I'm going to fly through the daily market update, and then going to hit on this last topic. We are going to save even though today is the 5th year anniversary, we've got kind of a week to hit on this stuff because minting went live 5 years ago today, and it was a slow burn, a good week until the night of April 30th, the early morning hours of May 1st is when mint out occurred, and the bathroom went live. So we'll hit on more of that over probably tomorrow. If not, we've got next week as well. But looking at majors, we have. Oh, I'm so laggy here. We've got down kind of across the board, but nothing too crazy. And even though Bitcoin's down 1.42% in the last 24 hours, it's still 77,549. ETH down 3.96%, but 23.19. XRP down 2.87, BNB down 2.5, Solana down 3.6. It's $85. Doge down 1%. Hyperliquid holding flat, basically down 0.43%. It is down 7.6% on the week, but it's still at $41. I think my long is still open, but it's basically like I think I opened it at 41 flat. So just kind of chopping. I probably should go check the funding rate, but nevertheless not the worst day. I do think we'll probably get some sort of I don't know. Friday afternoons have been extremely as we head into the weekend. Not the worst day in major. Punks up 6%. Ripper, so just a little bit of to be expected. What is going on? Azuki Elementals up 32% to 0.1 now. 71% to 3,200. Holy moly! Speaking of that ape ecosystem, X spaces. Yeah, big lag. I don't know what was going on, what was causing the lag, but I sensed it coming, and not only did it lag, it completely rugged me. For the first time, X audio spaces and X video held strong while we lost, and it's not even YouTube's fault, but yeah, StreamYard first StreamYard rugging in a bit, but fortunately, I think I'm back now. I guess it looks like it's good on my end, so hopefully we're good over there. If someone in YouTube could let me know we're back, or Abstract, either or would be great. And there is speaking of lags, there is a slight delay, so maybe we haven't come through yet. But when we do come through, give me a yeah, Osiris had to move to X for the first time. Usually it's the other way around. I'm just gonna proceed. We got a few minutes left. Hopefully we're coming through okay on YouTube and in Abstract. It looks like it on my end. Yeah, we're back. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it, Osiris. So here is the latest. I mentioned earlier, the social club industry is booming, like booming. It's CAGR's over 11%, and for an established industry like this, it's not often you see double-digit CAGR, 11.2% to be exact, and projected to hit 26 billion by 2027, mostly in major markets. But it's not just the Miamis, it's not just the New York Cities. I saw booming in St. Pete. St. Pete's not a major market. A couple 100,000 people, I want to say. Granted, it's part of Tampa MSA, but it's not a huge booming metropolis. And social clubs are booming in St. Pete even. Actually, an OG ape, Tifar is running one of the social clubs, the athletic club of St. Pete. Here is the most recent, just launched in New York City. It's called Stylus. It's in the Lower East Side. They have acoustically engineered listening room and performance space. Took 2.5 years to design. There's also a recording studio, a terrace, a private salon. 750 members max for people who care a lot about sound and music. Here's you got some images. Now, one thing we talk about 750 members max, and that's part of the allure of these social clubs is exclusivity, and they are local in nature. So the smaller membership base makes sense. I also think, I mean, this is music and sound, so not exactly, but I also think we're going to see a boom of studios, of not recording studios, but of streaming studios and podcast studios. Jambert was sharing his new apartment complex. They have the apartment complex. One of the utilities, one of the perks, one of the amenities is they have streaming rooms. They have podcast rooms in the apartment complex. As more and more, yes, kids, they used to wanted to become a basketball player, a football player, an astronaut. Now they want to become a YouTuber. As that becomes more and more popular, like we have a lot of home studios. Yeah, sure. But I think you'll see, I mean, to do it, and I still run this stream off a webcam, so I'm not really one to speak, but to do it proper, especially if you're going to go multi-channel and simulcast, you're probably talking a few $1,000s of equipment between mics and soundboards and MacBook and everything. Aesthetically speaking, if you're going to host others for a podcast, I'm not really going to do that in my home. I'd much rather do it in the studio. So my point being is social clubs, and this one I got off on that rant because they're focusing here on the recording studio and sound and music. Some others, just to give you an example, this is specific to New York, Zero Bond, $50,000 initiation fee, catering to media, finance, entertainment crowd. It's on Lower Fifth Avenue. AMAN, New York is a $200,000 initiation fee. They wouldn't let me in because I can't pronounce it correctly. This is the most exclusive club in New York City. It's in the Crown Building on 57th Street. And then Soho House, which is probably the most known social club or the most global in nature. They're now in almost every major city, more of like cater to the creative class. And then this newest one here, as we talked about, generating attention both inside and outside of Web3 and the creatives. Miami launches coming soon, in addition to the Clubhouse, the SEIA Club, SEIA. It's on Brickell. It's going to be just a private club and contemporary Italian restaurant. It's opening this year. And then Delano Members Club is Fourth Floor Sanctuary at the reopened Delano Miami Beach with a private pool and social spa. I don't know, man. Forget mutants. A full-blown ape is cheaper than a Zero Bond membership right now. And you get a global community and access to more than just the one physical location. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's challenging to do this hybrid social or this public / member-based model. Maybe so. We will see. But I think the way they're approaching this it's really exciting, and it's so exciting that I've thrown this out there. I'll continue to throw it out there. Like if they choose to scale the social club, if they choose to scale the Clubhouse, I would I'd love to be involved. I would love to help scaling that concept. Joey mentioned the phone repair space. Yeah, you did see a lot of U-break iFixes because they were based in Florida, and this was their home state. And yeah, there was massive consolidation in that industry. It became a two-person race. It was when I got started in phone repair, there was 10,000 repair shops and 10,000 repair businesses in the U.S. and the top 4 leaders combined for less than 10% market share. And what got me so excited about that space is that it seemed like consolidation was inevitable, just like you were talking L2s and consolidation in the crypto space inevitable. And it played out. It was not hard to be right, but it was right in that regard. That if you fast forward today, there's really 2 major players. It was U-break iFix, who they would eventually get acquired by Assurion, the company that underwrites the insurance for Verizon and AT&T. And the other brand is the one that wasn't the brand I founded. It was the brand I merged with and took a leadership role, and ultimately brought in the buyer, which was Assurant, the other insurance company in the U.S. for mobile phones. At least as far as mobile phones are concerned, they underwrite all the T-Mobile wireless protection, wireless insurance, wireless protection plans here in the States. So and yeah, both today would just say around 500 locations and are the unquestioned leaders. They're both one or two, and for all intents and purposes, every single metric in the retail phone repair business. I don't know if social clubs consolidate to that level. I don't think so. I do think beyond the membership-based social clubs, I think things like, we've talked about on here, the the idea of these non-alcoholic bars. I absolutely think that'll follow a similar trend to both wireless and repair. But my overarching point is there's clearly a demand, there's clearly a market. If you would have asked me, without me doing a little bit of research and finding out, if you would have asked me how large that industry was, I would have guessed about somewhere between 2 to 5 billion. And my benchmark there is it's bigger today, but when I started, the repair industry was a $5 billion industry experiencing similar growth. I'm kind of blown away. It's already a $27 billion industry. Really vastly exceeded what I thought it was. And to be an industry that's experiencing 11% CAGR is really compound annual growth rate is really, really impressive and exciting. And it gets me more optimistic for the long-term sustainability and the success of the clubhouse, knowing that there is such a demand outside of just the crypto natives, outside of just the Bored Ape Yacht Club wanting the physical home. The industry really is popping off. And not only do I think they're hitting it at a perfect time, I think Miami is maybe the perfect market for it as well. So that said, really enjoyed the show today. Appreciate everyone who added and contributed to the conversation. We will talk a little bit tomorrow. We'll do more of the actual look back and kind of the walk down memory lane and everything that has transpired amongst since Mint started 4 or 5 years ago today for the Bored Ape Yacht Club. That is, I don't really have much else to add on the OTC Grails desk or the partnership with Cirrus there, but big news nevertheless. You see some more Grails popping off, some more 6-figure sales. Jimmy 1ETH, who was an OG in the club, the blue beams that sold was one of his apes. He's also got his gold space ape for sale. That would be, I'm not in the market for a $200,000 JPEG, but if I was, it'd be a tough decision between that and a hoodie punk. There was another fire hoodie punk that sold for around that as well. We will be back tomorrow, like normal, 8 a.m. Eastern time here on X Audio Spaces, X Video, YouTube, and as long as they let us keep going live, we'll keep firing the go live button on Abstract as well. And then, like I said, next week a little bit of in and out. We'll go live every day at 8. We just might have to go audio only for 1 or more of those days. But looking forward to it. Fridays are always a fun show. A little bit of a Friday free for all open mic, and we will have some fun. So enjoy your day today. Good luck at the NFL draft for all the prediction market enjoyers. I still have some bets to make, and I don't know. I don't know if I have any like strong player takes other than for as quote unquote weak as this draft class is supposed to be. I think the receivers are going to surprise some people. At the top, it's like now it's a debate between Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson. Lemon has kind of fallen to wide receiver 3, it seems, whereas Tate and Tyson both have wide receiver 1 upside and can play in and out. Lemon's probably more of a slot. Like Amon-Ra would be his upside case, probably extreme upside case. But beyond those big 3, I think Omar Cooper is legit. I think Casey Concepcion. I'm not sold on David Boston. David Boston I was sold on. His son Denzel I'm not entirely sold on yet, but we'll definitely see 5, maybe 6 wide receivers in the first round. And I think more than one of them could have a surprising rookie year for what many are saying is a weak draft class. And Jeremiah Love is I just hope he doesn't go to Arizona. I have way too much Tyler Algier exposure to see another running back in that backfield. That said, enjoy the draft tonight. We will hit on it briefly in the cold open tomorrow, and we'll do this more of a formal look back. We're going to work on getting Brad on the show to do a MegaEth deep dive. And if you want to hear more about Xeet and their move to MegaEth, I did pin up top the space that TMA is hosting, the Funkuri space. He's got Pawns and going to be talking Xeet at 1 p.m. Eastern today. That's linked up top. Go check that out. And we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.